Hello, my name is Steve Sexton, and welcome to the Silver-Haired Tsunami Show. You know what? We have an outstanding show for you today. We have Christine Baker with an inspiring story from Friends of Downtown San Diego. Wayne Dunlop with bucket list travel items that can save you thousands. And we have Paula Shaw helping you deal with all the crazy stuff in the world. So stick with us. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. This is Steve Sexton with your tip of the day. You know what? Regardless of who becomes president, and with all the craziness that's going on with the Democratic National Convention, the Republican National Convention, it's a mess. The big thing here is this, hey, if you want to stop worrying about your finances, there's about 8 things you need to do. Number 1, understand your money situation. This means understand what you have coming into your accounts every single month and what's going out, what your future needs would be. Number 2, know where your money is going. A lot of times when I have clients find out where all their money's going, a lot of times they couldn't believe they had, $1,500 a month going to Starbucks or so much money going to making jewelry. It's crazy. Next thing is get a handle on your debt. This is actually easier said than done. The reason why it's easier said than done is because you have to make a list of all your debt. You want to list it from the ones you owe the least on to the ones you owe the most on. Make the minimum payments on the ones you owe the most on, and the ones you owe the least on, make the maximum. Get rid of that one and keep working on down the line until you have no more debt. You want to set some financial goals. Hey, be debt-free in 3 years. I want to have this much saved in 5 years. Educate yourself. The more you know about finances, the more prudent decisions you can make. Plan for life's ifs because you never know when they're going to occur. Don't be keeping up with the Joneses, because a lot of times all it does is wreck your finances. And last but not least, get some help. Find a trusted financial professional that can give you good quality advice. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. This is Steve Sexton. In our next segment, we have Paula Shaw, our transition therapist. Remember, she's the best-selling author of Grief, When Will the Pain Ever End? Now, recently, whether it be Paris, France, Nice, France on Bastille Day, in Germany, Baton Rouge, or Dallas, we're seeing all these terrorist acts. And you know what? People aren't really feeling empathy or sorrow for people, but you know what? They're getting more and more fearful. So we have Paula Shaw here to, help us deal with this and learn what's going on and understand what's happening so we don't become fearful around our surroundings and so we can go live a quality life. Paula, welcome to the show.
Hi, Steve. So good to be here always.
You know what? Actually, when we talked about this, I was so excited for you to come on the show because I know people who are concerned about traveling all over the world.
Oh,
they're concerned
yes.
about just going out because they think it might happen to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Besides the obvious reasons, what are some of the other dangers of having so many people focused on a tragedy and these terrifying events?
Yeah. Well, quantum physics has taught us that everything in the universe is made of energy, right? Energy vibrating at different frequencies. When everybody on the planet is focusing on one thing, and especially if they're focusing fearful, negative energy, you see where I'm going with this? This cloud of negative energy can actually grow, and that it becomes more powerful. So whatever we feed our energy to grows, or whatever we give energy to grows. So we're actually feeding energy to just what we don't want. We're actually perpetuating something that we don't want to exist at all by this concentration.
Now, here's the other thing. I see, that's a great statement because it leads into the next question. We see people, or I know people who watch these tragedies and watch the filmage over and over and over again.
Yes.
And it just, I see it just, they get it in a bubble over it and it just kind of winds them all up.
Exactly. And again, so see what they're doing, every time they watch that, the fear is growing. Every time they watch that, this, the impact of it is actually growing worse. And remember, your brain doesn't know the difference between what you visualize or what you're just seeing with your eyes and what's actually happening. So the impact on your body, on your adrenal glands, on the psyche, watching tragedy over and over and over again is really huge. And it can make us sad. I mean, we all cried when we watched Kennedy's funeral, right? It can make us sad, it can make us anxious, and definitely fearful. And then for some people, that goes to depression. It's like, why even go on? The world is just such a terrible place. I can't tell you how many times in the last couple of weeks I've heard people say, the world is just a terrible place.
Well, here's the other thing. I've also had clients that they were like getting ready for their big bucket list tour or cruise, and they're like, well, we're not going to go.
Right.
We're just not going to go because, you know what, and he actually said, I watched TV, I kept watching it, and it just made me feel like I just don't want to go. It's
Totally.
it's a tough thing. Now, can people get way overwhelmed with all just watching TV over and over again?
Yes. It's like I was saying, it's as real to your brain as though you're watching it out this window here. So the amount of fear that you can create can be huge, even though that most of it is on the other side of the country, the other side of the world from where we are here in California for sure. But that doesn't matter. And one of the things that's really strange about life today, there was a time when we all lived in little villages, right? So all you had to be concerned with, or little towns, was what was going on with the people in your neighborhood or the people around you. Now, because of the internet and international news, we are deluged with the pain and the suffering of people all over the world.
So it almost seems like there's a basic need to watch news. I mean, my wife loves drama. I mean, she loves the Housewives of New York and Orange County, and they love that drama. But when things like this come on, she's on it. And you know what? It makes her anxious about stuff.
Absolutely.
She makes it worried for our kids to go driving, to go, to go do things.
Yes. I know people who aren't going to baseball games or concerts or anywhere where crowds are gathered, they're fearful. And the thing we have to remember about the news is, unlike this wonderful show that brings people great information, the news is designed to create fear so that you have to come back and watch it again to see what's happened. Am I safe now? And most of the time, you're not safe because now there's a new tragedy that the news is giving you information about.
So what you're saying is the news is just sucking us in like another addiction?
It's a very good point. I mean, and may I say to our listeners, absolutely, do not watch news before you go to sleep at night. That's the worst thing you can do because the last thing you put into your consciousness, your brain is going to work with all night long. So the most powerful thing we can do is focus on something positive before you go to sleep. Take yourself to your happy place. Do some maybe nice, relaxing breathing exercises.
That comes next. You talked about a few things here,
Yes.
but what other things can people do to take care of themselves during these troubling times to not get caught up in all this and get
Yes.
fearful and anxious?
Well, number one, turn off the news. Once you know what's going on, you don't have to keep seeing it over and over and over again. Know that you're actually doing more harm than good to yourself if you do that. And secondly, focus on positive things. There are so many wonderful things going on in the world. There are so many wonderful people. And at first, sometimes it has to be a conscious effort. You feel yourself starting to spiral into those fearful, negative thoughts, grab yourself by the scruff of your neck and pull yourself back to thinking about something that feels better. We have to do this consciously because it's not going to happen naturally because we're pretty deluged with the negative. But consciously keep pulling yourself back to those positive thoughts, to something wonderful that happened to you or your family this week or today. Try to stay focused on that. Then we can grow that aspect of the collective consciousness. The joy, the love, the peace, the appreciation of life. Gratitude is a great antidote to fear. Think of all the wonderful things you have to be grateful for and all the things that are working. So consciously take that turn and focus on the things that give you joy. And in your conversations, try not to keep talking about the scary stuff. The bad guys win when we're all talking about them and we're all fearful, right?
That's right. Paula, thank you so much for coming onto the show
Yes.
today and sharing that with us because I know a lot of people need that help because they're seeing this almost week in and week out. It's nuts.
Deluged. Yes.
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 Thanks again for coming on the show. That was
Thank you
wonderful
for having
information.
me. Always
Now,
a pleasure.
if you would like to get more information, from Paula Shaw, or even help if you're dealing with this, you can go to our website at the Silver-Haired Tsunami website, go to the tab for Paula Shaw, connect with her information. Stick with us, we'll be right back.
My name's Kevin Grangetto. I live in Escondido, California, and I had my system put in by Baker Electric Solar. And when they got here, they were ready to go. Started early, 6 in the morning. They parked off site, so they were able to get everything in on the roof, hooked up, and done in a matter of 3 days. And it was really easy for my wife and I to work with them. You just don't want a lot of these challenges to be, affecting the way that you do your life. And when they got in and out of here, it was excellent. It was easy. It's just the way they told me it would be.
Hello and welcome back. You know what? It is my pleasure to have Wayne Dunlap back. Now, last Saturday, we had the Silver-Haired Tsunami Travel Series.
We did.
Where you just gave out some outstanding information. In fact, every time I hear you, I learn more and more. People stood around for hours afterwards just asking you and Pat hundreds of questions. And obviously, hey, I know you've traveled 100 countries. You've been to 44 states. Not 50, I get that. What's happening with that? We'll give you a hard time later about that. I can see why you're for 2 years in a row, you're in the top 25 when it comes to travel bloggers in the world for TripAdvisory. You're the #1 travel blogger for baby boomers. The book, Plan Your Escape, it's the secret of traveling the world for what it costs to live at home. You have 133,000 followers. I mean, I'm just so thankful that you're on the show to provide this wonderful information. Let's talk about some of the best travel deals right now that people should know about.
Yeah, I was so excited that seminar, that had such great response to things that we were bringing up. So I'm just going to talk about a few of them that came up in that seminar today. So one of the first ones I want to talk about is that 2016 and 2017 are phenomenal years for Americans to travel. Amazing. The US dollar has appreciated over other currencies around the world by more than I've probably seen in my economic lifetime. And for example, in Europe, which is the euro, 23 countries, we've appreciated 20% over the euro in the last 2 years. That means to the people traveling that everything is 20% off when you get into the countries.
I like 20% off.
I like 20% off.
My wife loves that too.
Well, here's another thing. We just got back from Great Britain. We were just there a couple of weeks ago. And because of this appreciation of the dollar and Brit exit, we're up 30% over the pound sterling. That means in Britain, things are 30% off. We got a downtown, beautiful hotel, walk out right in the middle of Trafalgar Square, all that in downtown London. Normally $350 a night, we paid $250. Now that sounds like a lot, but for downtown London, that's a great deal.
That's an awesome
When we
deal.
went up to York and we went up to the Lake District, $200 night, we're $140 a night with breakfast. I mean, it was incredible. Great Britain is on sale.
That's wonderful. Now, we've all stayed in places we don't like. How can you have this foolproof method of making sure you never stay in a bad hotel room again.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
I got to tell a story to introduce this. We went to Luxembourg and we checked in this hotel. It was a cute little hotel, had flowers on the outside. It was along the river. Beautiful little place. Checked in, and then we walked out to dinner, walked around town, had a beautiful evening. Came in about 10:30, put our feet up. 11 o'clock, went to bed. Midnight, the disco kicked in below. And it pounded and pounded, and it kept us up all night long. So how do you find those places that look like a bargain, but may not be the best place for you? We use a website called TripAdvisor.com. TripAdvisor.com. And what we do is they do peer reviews, and they're one of the largest peer reviews in travel, in the travel business. And you go on, what you do is I have two sites up. One, my booking site for accommodation hotels, and the other one is TripAdvisor. I never finish the booking without going and reading those TripAdvisors, and for years now, we have not had those kind of problems.
You mean you don't want to learn how to do a rave dance?
Or bed bugs, or whatever the issue is. I don't want those.
Oh, no, I agree. I couldn't handle that.
TripAdvisor.com, it is a treasure. It's just an absolute treasure.
Now, you know what? Cruising's really popular. I know you and your wife, Pat, have been on good 30, 40 cruises here. Now, where do you learn about cruises, what to do and all that stuff on the cruises? How do they operate, and where do you find the deals?
Right. A couple of sites that I recommend to people, and the one that we like is vacationstogo.com.
So it's vacationtogo.com. Vacations2go.com
Yes.
for cruises. Okay.
Yeah, and what you do is what vacations2go.com, and there's other ones that's called Cruise and More and others. They're called consolidators. And so the cruise companies are very sophisticated in their marketing. They know every single week that will sell and every week that doesn't sell. And so they take those weeks that don't sell and send it off to the consolidators, and they discount the heck out of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's a beautifully organized site. If you want Alaska, Europe, Caribbean, whatever, it's all by category. You go on and they show you all the great deals. And we got this repositioning cruise we did on this last trip over to London. We got it for like $600 for a 2-week cruise per person. I mean, that's incredible. They're incredible deals.
2-week cruise for $600.
5-star cruise, Royal Caribbean, yeah. And that's where you find the deals is on Vacations.
That's
Go.
inexpensive.
And if you want to learn like a TripAdvisor of cruising, you can go to cruisecritic.com. And then punch in your cruise, punch in your cruise ships, even excursions, and you find information and peer reviews on
So
that.
in other words, you can find out whether you're going to be on a good cruise ship or a bad cruise
Yes.
ship. Again, it's like it's never staying in a bad
I never
place. or
book
being on a
anything
bad
without
cruise
peer
again.
reviews anymore. And remember, you can't please everybody.
I
Okay, so when you
understand
look through the reviews, you're always going to find someone, oh, the towel was turned backwards and I don't like, but you can read through the gestalt, look through quite a few of them, and you get the impression that if everyone is bad, then you go, well, go to the next deal. But usually you can see if it's a good or bad deal.
Okay, Wayne, you know what? I know a lot of people jump on your website. There's 133,000. It's your blog. It's called unhookednow.com.
That's correct.
Okay. What can they find there if they go?
Oh, it's amazing. I try to put as much data as I can. We don't make any money at doing this. This is a retirement gig for my wife and I. We just love to teach people how to travel the world. And you'll find travel bargains, deals, all kinds of things on there. Also, there's 220 places that I have posted around the world. It was picked by TripAdvisor the last 2 years, and there's TripAdvisor. But anyway, we were the top 25 travel blog in the world, and we just got chosen one of the top 20 baby boomer travel bloggers the fall. You'll find a host of information about travel and deals.
Wayne, thank you so much. That was wonderful information. Hey, you know what? That was a great seminar that you put on for everybody, educating them about travel, how to save thousands. We're so lucky to have you on the show here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to get the word out about travel and to be part of your organization.
Well, thank you, thank you. Hey, you know what? If you would like to get more information, that means going on that bucket list trip or cruise, go to our website at the Silver-Haired Tsunami. Get connected with Wayne's blog, unhookednow.com, because you could save thousands of dollars, because my family have, and I hope you do too. So stick with us. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back. In our Spotlight story, we have a wonderful story. We have Christine Baker of Friends of Downtown San Diego, and she also has Samantha Thornton. She's one of the beneficiaries of the scholarship, and she's, you know what, she's just changing her life, and she's looking to change other people's lives. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Steve.
Christine, tell us a little bit about Samantha, and then we'll let...
I will. First of all, thank you for inviting us back. We are thrilled to report back to you, in essence, that the Friends of Downtown hosted their 16th annual scholarship fundraising breakfast last Thursday at the University Club. We gave our scholarships out in November of 2015, and Samantha was one of many, many wonderful recipients, and she spoke at our scholarship breakfast on Thursday. And before we have her share a little bit of her story, I just want to shout out that our goal to fundraise this year was $25,000. We are already about at 19, a little over 19,000.
That's great.
Not too late. So if anyone is out there and interested in helping students like Samantha, they can log on to our website, fodsd.org, and help us with our scholarship fundraising goal this year so we can affect as many students at City College as possible. So having said that, Samantha, it's been an absolute delight, and this is one of the things that makes me so passionate about this and the way Friends of Downtown does their scholarship fundraising is not only do we raise the funds, but we also interview the students and get to know them and really hear their stories. And that's where it hits home and it makes a huge connection to our hearts. And we can go out into the community and share that. So Samantha, tell us a little bit about your story and how you ended up, how you ended up back in school.
Well, first I want to say thank you for inviting me on the show, and thank you for this wonderful opportunity. How I ended up back in school, 7 years ago, my only child passed from ALL leukemia, which is acute lymphoblastic leukemia. We had battled for about 4 years, 3 days, 27 hours, about 4 minutes, something like that. And I am a licensed cosmetologist, been doing hair since I was about 15, 16 years old. And I am passionate about that. I enjoyed doing that, but after my son passed, like something was still like kind of like missing, and I kept having dreams about being my son's nurse. And so after visiting a couple campuses, I ended up at City College, which at the time when I started, I didn't have transportation, so I was catching the trolley, which is a 2-hour commute from El Cajon City to downtown San Diego during using public transportation. But it was well worth it because I had been out of school for about 16 and a half years, and I decided that I wanted to be a nurse, but I was like a fish out of water. Like being back in school, being one of the older students, like it was kind of scary. And my first year there, they had the First Year Experience FYE program, which they help let you know about different scholarships, and you get on these email lists. And Friends of Downtown Scholarship was one of the ones that came up on the email list. And so I applied for the scholarship, and I felt like that, you know, like I have a pretty, you know, decent story. Like I think that they might want to hear that, you know, because I definitely could use the help. Being a college student, the struggle is real as far as finances. So I decided to apply for the scholarship. I met with Marla and Lindsay, which are my scholarship donors, and like gonna be lifetime friends now. And I got the scholarship, and that inspired me because I definitely needed the financial help, but far past the financial help, like I was invited to several different luncheons and breakfasts, and I made some other great connections with people who like, hey, here's my contact information, I want to follow your college career, like people that I keep in contact with that became like mentors. And then also one of the biggest things that Friends of Downtown has helped me with, I applied for a study abroad scholarship, which is to travel internationally to learn a foreign language. And one of the segments talks about your community service and the things that you do in your community. And so I listed the things that I do, and I said, and as a recipient of that, or as a result of that, I'm a 2015 recipient of the Friends of Downtown scholarship, and I was awarded the Benjamin A. Gilman scholarship. And so I'm actually leaving in about 45 minutes to Costa Rica.
She's getting out of Dodge right after this.
Yes, I'm leaving to go catch a plane to go to Costa Rica right now. So, like I said,
And tell us why that's important to you in your career.
yeah, the reason learning Spanish is important to me is because my son knew Spanish, and I do not want to communicate with patients through a translator. I want to be able to talk to them like one-on-one. If you're ailing, you have a pain, I want to be able to speak in Spanish, you know, pas, hola, or poquito, un momento, más o menos. You know, I want to be able to say it, and I want to speak, you know, their language and not have any type of barriers. Like what I went through with my son, he never complained. He continues to help me push on and push forward. And I feel like if I made it through the absolute worst thing that could have ever happened to me in my life, then there's no stopping me. So we just
You know what I think is wonderful about your story, Samantha, is the fact that what a lot of people don't know is you used to have your own hair salon. And you were a private business owner and the whole shot until your son is diagnosed with cancer, and then you had to take time off to deal with him, and then you realized, you know what, my life's going to go in a different direction. This store isn't worthwhile anymore because I want to make a difference in somebody else's life. And just listening to you here, you know, I know you're a little bit older, you still look like you're in your 20s and you have great genes, and that's wonderful. But the thing that I really like about you is the fact that you took 2 hours to drive a trolley into downtown San Diego. It means you're going to do whatever it takes to make a difference in your life and get to where you want to go. And I think the scholarships that downtown San Diego, Friends of Downtown, are giving to the right people, because they're going to make a difference. They're not someone that's just looking for a handout and saying, hey, pay for my college. You're going to go do something with it. And people can see that in you. And I'm just happy to share your story and share what Friends of Downtown San Diego is doing, because I just think it's wonderful.
Thank you.
And I don't know if you know this, Samantha, but thank you, Steve Sexton. He has been a contributor, and he was a full scholarship contributor to, yet again, this year's program. So he wasn't able to join us
My
himself,
pleasure.
but he has been behind us supporting and fundraising for us out in the community. So we thank you very much, Steve, with Sexton Advisory
Thank
Group.
you.
And it's people like you who are out helping us share our message that make this very unique. So we really appreciate that.
I will say this, I get hit up a lot of times over charities. The one thing I like about Friends of Downtown San Diego is they select people for their scholarships that might have had some trouble, went through issues like you had, but they want to make a difference in their life and they just need a little help.
Right.
Just a little help, not a lot of help, and they don't want someone to pay for it because they want to do it on their own and they have a passion. And I
Yes.
think that speaks volumes for the organization and the people who are behind it, because they want to make a difference because they made a difference in their own life and now they can do it in others, just like what you're going to do as a nurse.
The best thing that I like about Friends of Downtown is it should be Family of Downtown, because you're not, I guess before you get the scholarship, maybe you're a friend, but immediately once I received the scholarship, like at the award ceremony, my donor said, and I'm going to follow her for the rest of her career. And like, you kind of think like as a student, like, oh yeah, that's nice fancy talk for the cameras and all that good sake, but like she got my contact information that day and she's kept up with me since November of last year. Like I get 2 to 3 emails from her a month. She follows me on social media, always encouraging like, hey, you can do it. You need anything, let me know if I can, anything, put me in touch with other, different people so they don't just stop at, like, I'm sure if they could raise more money, they would give, more money, but what they provide past monetary, because money is not always going to solve every problem, most of them, but not every problem. But I like the family atmosphere, like, sometimes you just need you can do it, or is there anything I can do for you, or like, this is exciting to me to be on a television, show. So to come to a breakfast where I'm just going to go eat breakfast. This is great, finals day. And it's like, hey, you want to, do this? So that's great.
I think when you have the right charity, that the love just doesn't stop when the money's been given.
Yeah.
They continue to love on you in a way that a parent would or a mentor would, and I think that's beautiful. And I think you're doing a wonderful job as a president.
Thank you, and I have to thank my board. We are a 100% volunteer organization, so we are all working full-time for the most part and trying to do this because we believe in City College. We are Friends of Downtown, City College is downtown. They are our future. And the people that are attending class at City College have already made a decision to change their life. They want to do that through education. And we feel as an organization very strongly that once someone has made that decision, we are so happy to support them. And there are many students like Samantha at City College that still need help and will continue to need help. So we'll be around for a long time. And again, if anyone is out there and would like to provide some support, you can go to Friends of Downtown website, fodsd.org, and make your contribution and change a life like Samantha's.
Well, I know you're going to be off to the airport in just a few minutes. So, Samantha, thank you for coming onto the show and sharing your story.
Thank you for
Christine,
having me.
as always, you've been wonderful. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for the opportunity, Steve.
If you'd like to get more information about how to contribute or become part of Friends of Downtown San Diego, please go to our website. It's the Silver-Haired Tsunami. Stick with us. We've got more great stuff right back after this moment. Wasn't that a wonderful show? We had Wayne Dunlop. He talked about all the things that save you tons of money when you're traveling. We had Christine Baker bring in Samantha. What an inspiring story from Friends of Downtown San Diego. And we had Paula Shaw. With all that craziness in the world, you need some help. Paula's a great place to go. Now, for more information, you want to see some more episodes, go to the Silver-Haired Tsunami website or follow us on Facebook. We'll look forward to seeing you next week.